What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Kagan Crow, where we love all things Warhammer. Really big news, so I'm going to do 3 months of Old World updates all at once. First two are going to be really quick. February, they announced that Tomb Kings were coming to the Old World, which I think everybody knew because they released a bunch of artwork. Wasn't very surprising, but a nice update anyways. Last month, in March, they released something that was pretty big. Some of the first sculpts that they're releasing for the new miniatures. It's just Bretonia and Tomb Kings, which they both really need some new miniatures. A lot of new sculpts. Some of them were pretty good and still hold up. A lot of them not so much. I'm excited, and I know a couple of my friends are. I have at least 3 friends that play Bretonia, plus I plan on starting one, and one friend that plays Tomb Kings, and I'm sure the new sculpts are going to look fantastic. And now on to this month, the month that it has some really big news. This came out earlier today. They're showing off a couple of the new painting. Most of this looks like the old sculpts. I'm not sure if these are new or not. They look very, very similar to the old stuff to me. In this picture, there's some things that we can pick up on already. They have these in the old lance formation that they did way back in 5th edition. So they kind of look like a traditional wedge formation or lance formation. And I'm not sure if they're bringing this back or if they're going to keep in the old rule that they had back in 6th, 7th, and 8th edition, or if they're going to come up with something new. They might have just done this because it looks nicer, but I don't know, we'll have to see. They did say why all of these guys have the same painting pattern is the core of the army, Knights of the Realm, mounted in foot. Foot is a very big thing. They might actually have some infantry that can hold in combat now. That'll be great. Knights Errant, Pegasus Knights, and all peasant units wear the heraldry of the general, which kind of makes sense. They say the reason is because the ones that aren't peasants, like the minor lords and nobles, just aren't really important enough to have their own heraldry, so they just wear someone else's. I suppose that makes sense, but all the more important guys, questing knights, grail knights, they will all have their own unique heraldry, just like they always used to have. But if you're not cool with that, well, you can always just paint your own army however you want. Plus, they've announced they'll also have rules for exile and crusade armies. So if you want to focus on disarmored knights or glorious crusades, you can do it that way instead. Not exactly sure what this means yet. What I'm hoping it means is back in the 6th edition days, they used to have alternate army lists in the back of the army books. Like Lizardmen, if you didn't want to do a Lustria themed Lizardmen army, if you wanted to do Southland's army, then you could do that, and it would have a slightly tweaked army list for that. Or if you were playing Skaven and you want to do like an Eshin themed army, then you could have they had rules for doing Eshin themed army or Clan Molder. And it was really cool having a little bit of different flavor if you wanted to have something that was, not basic, but you really liked something that was in the lore and you wanted to focus on that. It was just something really nice that I was kind of sad that they took out of in 7th and 8th edition. So, basing. This is something that a lot of people were expecting. I know I predicted this, and I know I'm not the first. A lot of other people are also expecting this. But they did announce that everything that was on the 20mm bases will be bumped up to the 25mm bases. Most, but not all things on 25 cavalry bases will be replaced with something new. I expect it's going to be 32mm. I'm pretty sure most of us are not surprised by this. A lot of the miniatures didn't rank up well. That's why they're saying some of the 90s and 80s models became difficult to rank up. I can testify that's true. My black orcs, for instance, they're just nightmarish to rank up. My savage orcs aren't too bad, but sometimes they're kind of frustrating. Chaos warriors, they are not dynamic and they still barely fit on the bases. They're kind of annoying sometimes. And Lizardman Saurus warriors, depending on how you've assembled them, they can be annoying to rank up. So I imagine all of those and, most of the things that were on 25mm will be bumped up just so that they can have more dynamic poses, just so that they're easier to assemble instead of having to number the bottom of the bases so that you know exactly where they can go so they'll actually fit together. Terrible nightmare, and I'm sure some of you remember doing that. Do you need to rebase your old army? Short answer is no. Long answer is maybe. If you're just playing with your own friends and stuff and just the same group that you've always played with, they say it should be fine, and so long as everyone's on the same page about it. But if you want to go to, campaigns and tournaments and go to the store to play with people, then chances are you're probably going to have to change all the base sizes. That way both armies are on the same page, and that way you can actually figure out who's fighting who. Will you be able to buy the bases? Yes, of course you will. That is money that GW wants. It is money in your pocket. They want it. So they will be selling bases separately, and I'm going to have to buy hundreds. I have so many goblins. Something else I've noticed with how these guys are ranked up is that there's 6 in the front and they're only 3 deep, which is not like how it was in, 5th edition or afterward, because it was either 4 or 5 in the front usually, and they're usually 4 ranks deep instead of 3. So this might just be for nice looking pictures, or it might be implying something in the rules. These guys are 8 wide, so I don't know if they're going to be still having the horde rules and they're just going to knock it down to 8 wide instead of 10 so you can have a smaller model count. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think of all this. This is all news that I think most of us were expecting. Great news, welcome news. We like it, or I like it. If you don't like it, or if there's something you want to see but haven't seen yet, let me know in the comments below. But I'm out of here because YouTube doesn't pay my bills.